Hello and welcome to the 2023 Miss Wheelchair New York competition. I am Shamika Andrews, State Coordinator of the Miss Wheelchair New York program. We are so happy you have joined us today, whether you are joining us on Facebook or here in the Zoom room. I want to take this time to thank all of our supporters and sponsors. Without you, we would not be able to continue to have this program. We want to thank the Hordell family for all of their support and the support of Heather, our outgoing title holder, who you will hear from later on today. We also want to thank HDS Medallion wheelchair bags for supporting us for the last few years and donating a wheelchair bag to the winner of the organization. This year, HD has actually donated enough bags that all participants will receive one in the mail following this event. So we thank them for that. We also want to thank Tarsha Original Events for our lovely flowers that will be sent out after this event as well. And all of our volunteers, whether you are judges, our contestants, or whatever you did to help this program continue, we appreciate you all. So with that, I am going to turn it over to our MC for the day, Denise Stenoto. Denise is the former state coordinator of the Miss Wheelchair New York program and Miss Wheelchair New York 2001. So I will turn it over to Denise.
Thanks so much, Shamika. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago that I was sitting where these contestants are, getting ready to go into a judging session for a Ms. Wheelchair title. Somehow it is. So I have sat where they've sat, and I'm thrilled to give them the opportunity to grow their networks by participating in this program. Before we get started, I just want to tell the audience a little bit about the judging process for Ms. Wheelchair New York. The judging process follows the pattern outlined by Ms. Wheelchair America. Contestants were scored on 4 separate events. The 2 personal interview judging sessions that happened earlier today, and the 2 sessions that are going to happen now, their platform speeches, and then their in-person question and answers. The contestants are not judged on beauty. This is not a beauty pageant, although we have 3 very attractive women here today. Instead, the contestants are scored based on their accomplishments, be it academic, vocational, personal, on their communication skills, such as their ability to deal with media or peers, their advocacy for people with disabilities, their self-confidence and motivation, and also their self-perception and projection, such as their poise and demeanor. And this, again, as I said, is not a license to choose the most attractive contestant, but we do know that no matter who is chosen, they're all beautiful women and shine with a beauty that's deeper than just the color of their skin or what's on their face. As judges, the judges have been very busy listening to the women so far today, and are excited, I'm sure, to get on with what's happening today. We appreciate our judges. Nothing could happen without our judges. Our judges today come from varied walk of life. Our first judge is Melanie Hecker. Melanie is an autistic adult and lifelong disability advocate from Albany, New York. She currently sits on the Living Resources Corporation Board of Directors and is the co-chair of Congregation Ohav Shalom's Inclusion Committee. So we welcome Melanie and say thank you. Deanna Labuzetta is another judge, and she's from Saratoga Springs, New York. She is a stroke survivor, and those of us who have been with Ms. Wheelchair New York for a while are happy to see her again. She served as Ms. Wheelchair New York 2009. She currently volunteers for the STEPS program in Saratoga, which is an organization that supports stroke survivors. And our third and final judge is Alyssa Zwiebach. Did I say that correctly? I'm always mispronouncing your name, I feel like. Good, we did that. Alyssa serves as a care manager, supporting people on a more individual basis to live the lives they want to live with the supports they need when we can find them. We all know more advocacy is needed. She is a transplanted downstater and facilitated advocacy for individuals within the educational system for over 29 years. So welcome, Alyssa. We're thrilled that the three of you could be here. But of course, you're really excited to meet the contestants.
Oh, yes, we are.
These are some amazing contestants. Our first contestant, Farzana Ali, comes to us from Long Island. She currently is pursuing postdoctoral work at the State University, New York at Stony Brook, where she has a PhD in biomedical engineering. She describes herself as resilient, enthusiastic, positive, dedicated, and persistent. And we're thrilled to have Farzana here with us today. Our second contestant is Mary Langelier. Mary was born with spina bifida and hydrocephalus and has used a wheelchair since the age of 2. She was raised in Niskayuna and is the youngest of 3 girls. She has been employed with Warren Washington Albany ARC since 2015, and she describes herself as funny, helpful, outgoing, and a little nuts. I've ridden the bus with Mary. She is a little nuts. I can vouch for that. That is an accurate description. Our third contestant comes to us from Brooklyn. Kalia Hazlett was born with congenital arthrogryposis. She studied at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice, and she is the founder and executive director of the Sunshine New York, New York City, a nonprofit organization that helps people with disabilities live independently. She described herself as charismatic, resilient, creative, courageous, and humanitarian. Welcome, Kalia. So now you've met our judges, you've met our contestants. So now it's my turn to tell you a little bit about what's going to happen. Each of these 3 contestants has been asked to prepare a platform speech. They will now present their platform speech to you, the audience, here on Zoom and on Facebook. We will allow each of them the opportunity to give their speech. The judges will then have a brief minute to score them, and we'll move on to the next contestant. And I do believe that we are going in alphabetic order, unless Shamika tells me otherwise. And she hasn't, so that's great.
You are correct.
Okay, fantastic. That means that we are going to start with Farzana. So I will give her a second to get herself ready, and then whenever you're ready, Farzana, feel free to take the stage.
Thank you very much, Denise. Thank you everyone for coming here today and supporting us. I just want to start with a question. Do you remember how you felt when you got out of bed this morning, or when the sunlight touched your face? Let me tell you how my day began. It began with anxiety. Will my aide show up to get me out of bed? It began with sadness, depression. Is this how the rest of my life going to be? Unfortunately, it's not just a story of me. Individuals with disabilities like me are 5 times more likely to experience mental health issues. Yet, we often face unique barriers in accessing mental health services. Ladies and gentlemen, as Miss Wheelchair New York, I want to raise awareness about an important issue that's often overlooked and stigmatized in our society: mental health for individuals with disabilities. My platform will focus on 3 key areas. First, I will work to break down the stigma surrounding mental health in the disability community, creating safe spaces for people with disabilities to talk about their mental health and seek help when they need it. Secondly, I will advocate for policies and programs to allocate more fundings for mental health services tailored specifically to the needs of people with disabilities, including transportation and language services. I will voice these concerns as the selected representative of the United Spinal Association to our members of Congress on Capitol Hill. Finally, as a physician scientist and mental health researcher, I will educate healthcare providers about the important and unique needs of individuals with disabilities, particularly for their mental health care. Addressing mental health is multifaceted and intricate, but I am determined to make a difference as Miss Wheelchair New York. And together, we can break down the barriers that prevent us from accessing the mental health care we need, so we can all feel the sunshine again. Thank you.
Oh, I missed the applause, but know that it's happening in my head and with everybody else. My friend Blaze, who does this professionally, has an applause soundtrack, and I should have thought to figure out a way to get it from him for today. Thank you so much, Farzana. That was wonderful. I'm excited already, and we still have 2 to go. And I should have said, when I introduced you earlier, that you use a wheelchair because of a spinal cord injury. I apologize for leaving that out of my introduction. I said it about the other 2, and it wasn't fair of me to leave it out of your introduction. It's live TV, folks. This is what happens. Our next contestant is Kalia. And I just blanked on your last name. Hazlett. Hazlett. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Kalia, I'm going to stop talking and let you have the floor. It's all yours.
Thank you, Denise, and thank you, Farzana. That was a hard act to follow. But as an advocate here in New York, my platform as Miss Wheelchair New York would be to be visible in the community, to make a more inclusive environment, to reach out to the non-disabled community, to say, here, we are working here in this city, we are traveling here in this city, and you need to see us. And if you have forgotten, we are here. What's really important to me also is that we bring younger people to advocacy. I think when I was younger, I didn't have anybody that looked like me. We didn't have Farzana, we didn't have a Mary. And I developed the nonprofit, the Sunshine Network, so that I can be a mentor to 30 young women. And it was very important for me to stand in front of them and say, I know every emotion that you're feeling. I understand what your caregivers go through. It is important that we work together so that you can find empowerment and you can be independent and you can live a very full life as a professional, as a mother, and as a New Yorker. And it's very important to me as Miss Wheelchair New York to be a visible advocate, not just pound the concrete behind the scenes, but to say to young people, come to the forefront. Don't be in the dark. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Smile. Come to your favorite New York advocate, Kalia, and say, what can I do to empower myself and empower other people with disabilities here in New York and in America?
got my vote. Not for title holder, but you have to run for public office because I want to vote for Kalia. Yay. Everybody has my vote for Ms. Wheelchair New York because you could all do this job. And that's what's wonderful about the sisterhood that we have as past title holders like Shamika and Deanna, current title holders like Heather. You are developing a peer network, and it is so important. Thank you so much, Kalia. The final contestant we're going to hear from today is Mary. Mary, I'm going to mute myself just like the others and give you the chance to unmute yourself and tell your story. Go ahead.
Thank you, Denise. My name is, my platform would be Disability and Transportation. Hello, my name is Mary Langelier. I'm extremely excited to be here today. The reason I wanted to compete for Miss Wheelchair New York 2023 is that I want my disability to mean more. I have done a lot of advocating, but if I win here today, I could do even more to help people with different disability, different disabling conditions to get the word out and help them start advocating for what they want as well as what I want. I am the only one in my family of 3 girls with a disability, which strongly influenced my perspective on the struggles that people with disabilities face every day. My advocacy journey began in high school when I completed a year-long training program through the AmeriCorps program with the Self Advocates Association of New York State. This helped me develop my voice and the confidence to speak out against something when I see a problem or I can offer a solution. One of my greatest accomplishments as an advocate was when I wrote the city of Schenectady and town officials in Schenectady regarding the lack of curb cuts and the burden that it placed on individuals using wheelchairs or other mobility devices. I attended a city council meeting and my efforts resulted in new curb cuts around the city. I will go to other cities and help with their curb cuts if Miss Wheelchair New York allows me to. I have also challenged various local businesses to make stores more wheelchair friendly. And I will, as Miss Wheelchair New York, I will do that too. Most recently, I wrote Amtrak about the fact that there are no tie downs for wheelchairs on their train cars, saying that such an improvement would enhance the safety for customers. As Ms. Wheelchair New York, my platform and my voice to improve transportation options and local options for people with disabilities, regardless if I win here today, I will continue to promote equality, accessibility, and basic rights for all. Thank you for considering me to be your Miss Wheelchair New York 2023.